Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Champion Gimbap, the conspiracy fish for today. But who knows? Maybe sometime in the future too. This is a wrap up from the stream, which is your chance to tell us what you think. Is it worth doing this shit in the future? So I have posted the link in the Twitter stream, so you can come and tell us what you think. If there's any questions I've got to ask you. I am joined by a few extra guests, so it's my privilege to bring Captain Swiss here, and we are expecting Stizer here at some point. Would you guys like to introduce yourself, just in case this is the first stream? So let's start from Angels, because she's the furthest to the left that I have on my screen.
Well, you've got a real problem if I'm the furthest to the left. But yeah, hi, Angels again. So I bet probably if we're joined by the same crew there, I don't really need any special introduction. But I do hope that you guys liked my attempt at a tinfoil hat, which actually made me look more like some medieval soldier. But, you know, whatever. I'm going to keep it here if we do another conspiracy video next time. So it's all good.
Swiss?
Well, I'm Captain Swiss. I'm the furthest to the right on my screen, so I don't know what that says on yours.
I think Google Hangouts is politically biased. Like, that's what I think.
I think so. What's the BBC doing? Photoshopping where our images are? Come on now.
Exactly.
I make political content on a channel called Captain Switzerland. Over to you, Whistler.
Hello. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not somewhere in the middle. I should be furthest from the left.
Surely that should be me.
Really. So yeah, I just talk bollocks basically.
Well, you know, every channel needs one.
Exactly. I provide essential bollocks talking.
Well, to be fair, like I brought you in to be the voice of sanity. You know, and you did offer, especially on that 9/11 stuff. I think you did offer a voice of sanity. Hello, Kuka Kyoto Tokyo. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah.
You did it better than I did.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the name in itself was frying my brain almost as much as my tinfoil hat.
Well, it's obviously Eastern Asian, so yeah, I think so. But yeah, I mean, Swiss, oh god, you're a bad person to ask, because you literally joined for the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes. I was going to ask you what did you think of the stream, but
well, the bits that I heard of it, I liked. I liked the tinfoil hats; they were pretty good. And then from what I caught at the back end of it, where it was you guys whistling as well. I don't know. I gather from the whole of the stream that it was a nice little bit of balance with you guys and your tinfoil hats on, both quite figuratively and literally, and then Whistler jumping into a sort of go, hang on a minute, guys, hang on a minute.
Hang on, I'm going to be devil's advocate. Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, it was good. But, like, I love a good conspiracy theory anyway, because it's like we always say on your channel as well. Like, we love a good bit of speculation, and what's better to speculate over than a conspiracy theory? Do you know what I mean?
Conspiracy theories work best within that within those grey areas, you know. And if you've got a political motive behind that conspiracy theory, fuck me, that's just gold, mate. Fucking gold. You can speculate on that shit for days, and I love it, mate. Absolutely love it.
Oh, me too. Now, I've just seen in the side chat, they're trying to come up with a new name for
Kuka Kyoto Tokyo.
I read, like, I didn't read that as guess what I read that as, Swiss?
Go on.
Was it well, the first three letters of it?
Yeah. I read that as cucked. I read that I thought he put cucked is my old nickname. Some of my friends still call me cucked. I was like, cucked it is then.
Hello, Sty. Welcome to the stream. Sty, sorry, we're literally burning time and deciding how to pronounce Kuka, Kyoto, Tokyo's name. And we'll Kuka, Kyoto, Tokyo's name, which apparently is quite good according to Kuka. Kuka, Kyoto, Tokyo's name.
I've been calling them Tokyo for the last like 2 or 3 streams on my channel.
Yeah,
is that
Tokyo
wrong?
was a woman.
But no. Kyoto's in there as well, like, which is the old capital. We did discuss this during the stream. Did you miss it, Twist?
No, I remember. I just decided that I couldn't have any hope in hell of pronouncing it, so I thought I'd shorten it down to Tokyo.
Oh,
Okay. Swiss. Yeah, we were just talking about how the best conspiracy theories operate in the grey areas between, you know, fact and fiction. What would be your input on that?
I'd say the most convincing ones are the ones that don't sound that far away from what the official version is anyway. Like, I don't know. Take your David Icke, for example, telling us about the lizard people and the aliens and all the rest of it. That stuff for me is too far-fetched to even rope me in to speculate on it. But when he's talking about, oh, you know, there's a global financial elite running the show, I mean, I basically believe that anyway. So there's stuff that's easier to believe than other stuff, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, 9/11 is fucking dodgy. Like, that was always really dodgy. And like I said, when we were going over it, and like the part that's most dodgy with 9/11 to me is what Champsy said. It's Building 7. It looks so ridiculous. It looks like a controlled demolition. Like, it's unbelievable. It literally has 1 or 2 small fires in like the top floor and a couple of floors down. I watched the video of it recently, and it just absolutely collapses into itself like a controlled demolition. It's crazy. Like, and that you know, that wasn't hit by any plane or anything. I mean, it's really crazy to watch. Like that's why I was a bit like, oh, okay, there's something up with that. Like, that's dodgy.
Sorry, Stizer. I was just about to say, welcome, Stizer. Introduce yourself. I know you did a stream earlier. You did PMQs and stuff. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people that don't know?
I do boring political stuff, basically.
Not boring. It's our bread and butter.
Well,
you are offering a service to be
well, I don't do the same thing that Captain Swiss does. Captain Swiss does political commentary, which I don't do, because I just do, you know, Captain Swiss
observation
on Sundays. Yeah, I normally just stream like Question Time and PMQs and daily politics. That's about it. So yeah, that's kind of my contribution.
So, what did you think of the stream? I know you had a lot of comments in the stream.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of ground that we didn't cover, but you understand that I wanted to keep the time quite short. So I
mean, it was an interesting convo. I just think sometimes people ask the wrong questions of conspiracies in general. I do blame the likes of Alex Jones and others for the misinterpretation of the dictionary, which is to conspire. That's what conspiracy means. Theory is like the theory of gravity. No one disputes the theory of gravity, but if you put that in context of conspiracy theories, it'd be quite interesting to get a reaction. So,
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is,
sure there's flat Earth theory. There's, you know, there's
denial. No, that's just
the next thing will be gravitational denial. Like, gravitational revisionists. Like,
no, hold on a second.
No,
hold on. Gravitational theory is actually true. But that's what I'm saying. If you confuse them with the memes, like the most uneducated people use the word theory, I find, to be honest, and mix and match it to suit a certain context of how they perceive. Like, for me, I would say if you go back in history and read history books, there's a lot of weird shit. I mean, one of the biggest conspiracy theories ever, and we all know about it, is fucking November the 5th. That's a conspiracy theory. The biggest one and longest known one in Britain, but no one blinks an eyelid when you mention Guy Fawkes. So the new age thing of the media and how it's portrayed is kind of interesting, because what it does do, it stops you questioning authority. Conspiracy
Yeah.
theories are there mainly to question authority.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not there to question the legitimacy so much of the evidence. I'll agree with some of the stuff that even G-Wister says. I ignore most of the shit that they come up with, like World Trade Center 7, all that shit. That doesn't really concern me. What does concern me is who stands to gain from that event. And you can just look at that stock market and you can figure that shit out by yourself.
Well,
It's
this
about
is
money.
this
all.
is my point. In
Or
before we
power,
started, I had to label out on the motives. Is there a political motive? Is there a financial motive? And is there a personal motive for actually this conspiracy to work? You know.
Well, I would say this conspiracy
fails,
against Jeremy Corbyn. I just because that did me. I did because I couldn't speak on it. But I would say there's definitely a conspiracy against Jeremy Corbyn.
yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So with the last one with regards to the mural, do you think there's a Zionist conspiracy against Jeremy Corbyn? With these stance, like specifically, I need to be specific here. Specifically about his stance on Palestine, because he is a very much a vocal advocate of free Palestine kind of person. So, you know, specifically, would you say there is, with regards to these terms, that there is a Zionist conspiracy against him?
I'm very hesitant to use the word Zionist, but do I think certain people would like to see the back of him? Yes, and actually they did an undercover report, and there's a video going around the Twitters at the moment. I don't know if you've seen it or not, where someone said they give someone £1 million if they rubbish Jeremy Corbyn. Oh, I'm just
was that Channel 4 News that did that?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say no, but I just don't like the word. I don't like this whole Zionist thing myself.
I wouldn't use the word Zionist for that either. Personally, I'd probably say, as far as the people conspiring against Corbyn at the moment, you could say it's parts of the media, the Blairites within his own party, the Tories for that matter as well.
Of course.
Arguably, as far as maybe like the pro-Israel lobby in the UK, you could perhaps say that, or maybe.
Okay. Well, this is where I needed to be specific, right? Of course, we can all talk about the Blairites. I mean, especially with regards to the people that have been really outspoken, so Yushka Krumnas and Yvette Coopers, Liz Kendalls. You know, all these people have been very outspoken in the last couple of days with regards to this anti-Semitism shit. But I mean, in weaving these seeds of poison, you know, would it be Zionist lobbyists that does?
I would say no to
that. Okay, fair enough.
That's just my
fair enough.
Only,
like I said, it's conspiracy there. I got no fucking.
No, it's true. That's true. I'm just saying. One, I don't like the term Zionist in regards to how it's used.
Okay, well, if I changed it and said pro-Israel.
I would say yes to that. I would definitely say.
Okay, I don't. Okay, maybe you can educate me and say what's the difference between Zionist and pro-Israel.
Well, there isn't one.
Oh, go on.
Technically, sorry.
Well, I was going
to
say there was one.
Okay, go on, Swiss. I
was going to say that Israel is the name of the state, and when I would refer to Israel, I'm talking about the state actor in terms of foreign policy, in terms of that kind of thing. As far as Zionism or Zionists, that's a very broad word that basically means anyone who believes in the Jewish people having a state or in the state of Israel, that it's not the state of Israel itself, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, surely. No. Let me just come back on that. Now, I understand what you said there, Swiss, but surely being Zionist is being pro-Israel, right?
Yeah, but you don't have to be Jewish to be pro.
Oh no, exactly.
What I'm saying is, like, you know, if we had like a Venn diagram or something, it would like the two circles would overlap like 80-90%, but they're just not exactly the same thing. So for the sake of not being misconflated, I'd sooner say pro-Israel than Zionist.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that.
It's because as well, it kind of puts it puts a pin in the bubble that's trying to be created of, if you know, Zionism, anti-Jew. It's just I don't want to be associated with that shit. I've read Facebooks, being in Facebooks, where I've just gone, no. And people who supported Labour have said, you don't know what harm you're doing to the Labour Party movement by touting such stupid shit, because that's what it does. These people have watched the internet and literally, that's what I'm saying. It's new. This newfound information of the Illuminati and people doing all this finger shit triangles. It's like, oh my god, it makes me cringe more than you can possibly imagine. But people watch the internet, so you know, whatever. But I would just say, I agree with Swiss on this point. I would rather go with pro-Israel groups are definitely trying to undermine Jeremy Corbyn because of his stance on the Israeli government.
Maybe that's just me being clumsy, but I kind of assumed that Zionist groups or Zionist lobbyists were essentially the same thing, and I suppose
the word Zionist itself is a bit.
It's a bit clumsy. I agree.
It's not clumsy. But the word Zionist itself, Zio was actually a slur in Nazi Germany once upon a time. I mean, the thing is, Zionism itself and what that movement represents is misconstrued in its linguistical things, and that's why I wouldn't associate myself with it. I would rather go with Swiss's thing and keep it real and say pro-Israeli groups, and that's fine because that means they're lobbyists. Not wrong with lobbying the government, right? In that regard.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Really? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Legalized bribery. There's nothing wrong with that.
Depends how much money they're paying us, doesn't it?
No, the reason why I said that in slight, and probably, I still mean it in regards to, look, if you're an activist and you want to try and get the government to do stuff, you lobby the government, right? It's not American lobbyists where they just bribe politicians for fuck's sake to write the laws.
How is this any different? Like, no. I don't. No. There is a difference between whether, you know, lobbying through activism.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There's lobbying, and they still do that in the UK though. To think that they don't do that.
They just do it more slyly.
Uh-oh.
Someone say something?
I thought G just jumped in there, but he just muted himself.
Oh. I wondered, Beryl, you know, like when your fridge suddenly stops humming.
Yeah, and he was like,
ever happened?
Yeah, and he was like, hang on a minute. Why is it so much quieter than it was before?
Yeah.
But I like I said anyway, on the Zionist thing, I would say it's more at least, I wouldn't say educational, that's the wrong word. More poignant to point out it's better to notice that there is lobbyists who promote Israel, and that's okay, I suppose, because you know it's a country. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we have to agree with their policies, and that's what Jeremy Corbyn's doing, and they dislike him immensely. And one thing I will notice on the BBC, they never had anybody from the other side of the actual protest. Because if, according to the media, there was just one protest against the Labour Party, there wasn't. There was two. There was one for backing up Corbyn, saying, we're Jews who understand where Jeremy Corbyn's coming from. But if you watch the media, you wouldn't have known that shit. They were both shouting shit at each other, both Jews shouting shit. Jews going, you're not Jewish, and Jews going, you're
not Jewish.
Something else, and it's just like, that's bonkers. But
the greatest irony. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the greatest irony. The thing that came out of that really got me is that you had like non-Jewish right-wing Labour politicians calling Jewish Labour supporters anti-Semites. That was what you ended up having come out of that situation. It was crazy. Yeah.
And then we had this one guy that's recently come out and tweeting some really, really racist shit that's had to apologize via Twitter, and he's a Conservative Party member.
Yep.
And it's wise, like everybody knows that Jeremy Corbyn is not an anti-Semite, right?
Or racist.
Or racist at all. right? Everybody knows this. He's been fighting against. He was on the picket lines when he was fighting for apartheid, or against apartheid in South Africa.
Yeah.
Against apartheid in South Africa. One of the only politicians to ever get arrested. We all know his history over the last 30, 40 years when it comes to fighting things like racism.
The National
right?
Front. As well.
Whereas on the other side of the aisle, even if they have a history with people like the BNP or whatever, why is it not scrutinized in the same degree? All they have to do is just say, right, well, yeah, that was just a misinterpretation. Oh yeah, granted, I did have a kind of stag do that was Nazi themed, but I was just a bit drunk. Oh, that's fine. Fill your boots, do what you like.
It's because it's election season, champion. This is the point.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly right. I'm just posing questions. I'm not expecting rhetorical questions. I'm not expecting an answer. I know you know the answer. I know the answer. Swiss knows the answer. Everybody knows the answer.
No, but I think the word everybody's misused. I think we do because we're political nerdy people. But I think the general public
audience, in the current
there are 6 people watching at the moment.
And 4 of them are here.
Yeah.
Welcome to this 2 special guests. In fact, I don't, to be fair, because this is a new room, so it's minus.
Can we go back to the stream though? Like honestly, we picked up on the fact that there was a Zionist conspiracy. I should have said anti-Israel lobbyist conspiracy.
Just quickly, Jamchi. I wasn't telling you what you should have said. I was just saying what I would have said. Like
no, fair enough.
Those words is obviously up to you.
No. I appreciate that criticism. This is the whole point of the wrap up. And you're down here to criticize or offer other ideas or whatever that didn't get picked up in the chat. This is the whole point on the wrap up.
We did go to the moon, by the way. We literally did.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. To be honest.
No, we did. We did.
Yeah, I actually think
there's literally a thing that they put there on the moon so we can send a laser and it beams it back to us. It's literally there, and there's images taken by
Apollo 11. Though, didn't you get that posted? Apollo 11 was the specific ideas that Angel put across.
Well,
didn't we go to the moon on Apollo 11?
Yes. They didn't get to. Well, they went round the moon. They didn't land on it though. Apollo 11, I don't think. Apollo 11 is when shit went mental. Are you
sure you're not thinking about Apollo 13? That dodgy Hollywood thing.
I could be. I'm drunk. I could be. I could be. All I know is when Armstrong and all these fuckers went to space, they did, and they went to the moon. And let's face it, the Russians were kicking the Americans' ass. Werner von Braun was in charge of NASA at the time. The Russians put a dog into space. The Russians put the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin. They put the first satellite in space, Sputnik. These fuckers knew what they were doing. And the Van Allen belt that Angels pointed out, it's dangerous, but they don't stay there long. You can even ask Musk. I don't think he'd be spending all that money on a rocket if he couldn't get outside the Van Allen belt. Just so you know. So, I mean, the conspiracy theories of yesterday are going to be smashed by people like Elon Musk who are going to make it.
I agree.
We wouldn't spend all that money if we could.
Go on. All right, G's back.
I was going to say something ages ago about Zionism, but it seems irrelevant now.
I can still say it's a wrap-up. You can still...
I was going to say that Zionism predates World War II. I think the word Zionism is perfectly fine. You don't have to.
Well, I wouldn't say. I think I'm going to say again with the same thing as Swiss. I don't think we're disagreeing. I think in using certain words, you got to know that it's loaded. It's like the joke that Swiss made about the the pug and he says, you know, stars was liberal use of the word nigger, like some people would get loaded because it's a loaded word, or triggered, I should say, because it's a loaded word. So, you know, some people will think their own incarnations of what Zionism is. The Jews run the world and all that mad shit. But for us, in the context of what Champchi was asking, I would say a better phrase would be, you know, the Israel lobby group, which, you know, I think it tones it down a little bit, but doesn't make it any less important in that regard.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to finish this wrap up now, because I know Swiss has to get away, and we will be tuning in. So tell us, Swiss, what are you up to in about 20 minutes?
In about 20 minutes, I am going to have Kevin Logan on the channel, because he's been on in the past for a couple of Sunday streams, but we've never had the chance so far to sort of chat one-on-one about where we both stand on politics. So I think we're going to be discussing Brexit, social justice, and free speech. So it'll be interesting to see where we agree and disagree on those things.
I'm watching that whilst I work.
Is there an open hang afterwards? You better add.
You can host one if you want.
Shit, then I have to do all the hard work. Fuck off.
I'm still up afterwards. I can host one. But if Stizer wants to do one, then we'll see what happens after the stream. Depends how long you're gonna.
To be fair, I would if I had the Stizer channels up and working. But the Newswatch one is just I try and keep it strictly news.
Could do it on mine because there's probably like.
Depends. Like it. We might as well fucking do it in December, mate, with your time.
Well, look.
I
know. Fucking hell, I know, right? I can't get over it. And actually, I do pretty well at it as well, which is quite shocking.
I don't mean that badly. It's just wow.
No, it's true though. It's true. But actually, me and Stizer are like the after stream bitties on the whole, anyway. So
yeah,
that's fine. And
Angels do it then.
How long do you anticipate the stream running? By the way,
probably about between an hour and an hour and a half. I think.
Okay, that rocks. I'm sure I can stick around and just post on your comments. Anyway,
no, I won't.
Thank you very much for joining us for this wrap up. I wanna say thank you again to my panel. Panel sign off. Let's start ladies first. Low level sexism. So Angel, sign off.
Low level sexism.
I was gonna say ladies. I don't see any lady around here.
It's a man.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for having me along with the tinfoil hat. And cheers for hosting the wrap up. And I will no doubt see you straight over on Swiss's channel in a few.
Yeah, I hope so. Swiss.
Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to seeing you guys over on my channel.
Nice one. We're looking forward to it. And G.
Always a pleasure. See you in time. Whenever.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Never a chore.
Never a chore.
Yeah, as I talk to Stizer, always a chore, never a pleasure. Stizer.
I always get the sharp end of a fucking shit.
Oh no!
Oh, poor Stizer.
I hate you all. Go die.
We love you though.
We love you.
Hopefully in a Tory constituency.
Like mine.
Thank you, clearly. And I'll see you guys over on Mr. Swiss's channel.
All right, see you in a bit. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock. I don't know what time.
1 o'clock.
It'll be 6 p.m. our time.
6 p.m. Oh, we'll see you then. Anyway.
Yes. Which is in 15 minutes.
Shit, time to go.
See you later. See you later, guys.
Stick